Hey there, this is Creation Images, where I share my in-the-field landscape photography, the skills I've learned over 20 years of hiking and backpacking in the wilderness, as well as the insights and the inspirations that I've received along the way. If you're new here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and ring the bell below so that you can receive notification every time I come up with a new adventure. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful to you, and I really appreciate you being here, so thanks for watching. So while I'm hiking, I think a lot about the lessons I learned while I'm up here, and I want to share a few of those insights just right now while I'm moving along. That way I don't lose track of these thoughts, and maybe they'll help me in the future, and maybe I can share them with somebody else someday and they'll help them too. But one of the things I've been dealing with a lot in my life is just anxiety and the fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. And I've discovered that for every single trip that I plan to come to the mountains, whether it's just a day trip, early hike, or a full-on backpacking trip, I always have anxiety before I go. And it's odd because this is something that I love and something that I really want to do. So I'm not really sure why I get this sense of anxiety all the time. And then I was listening to a podcast that was talking about anxiety and creative endeavors, and they said that anxiety is a tax, that it doesn't matter what challenging thing that you're doing, whether it's something positive or something that you are, potentially has some negative connotations to it. Either way, anything challenging that you do, anxiety is a tax that you just have to pay. And by understanding that, it makes it a lot easier to just go ahead and do it anyway. Just knowing that if you're going to do something worthwhile, something creative, something that potentially could bring in something new to your life or the world, something unexpected, something that you don't know the end result to, which essentially is just saying life, because we can never be guaranteed what's going to happen in our life. But knowing that the tax you pay for being able to do those things is anxiety, it kind of lessens the anxiety. You just go, well, that's just normal. That's just part of it. So that's been really helpful. And the second part of that is the anxiety of failing. And in order to fail, you have to have some sort of predetermined expectation of what you expect to have happen, and that's called planning. And I do a lot of planning. I plan my trips really in detail about where I want to go and exactly what I want to do, what shots I want to get, and what I hope the sun is going to do, the light is going to do. And I plan all this stuff out, and then I get all this anxiety about, well, maybe it's not going to work. Maybe my plan isn't going to work. And another thing I've learned recently is that plans are not some sort of lasso into the future that you can pull the future into alignment with. Oh, this is all muddy here. Pull the future into alignment with exactly what you want. We have no idea what the future is going to be. So plans are simply a current moment thought. It's just something that is in my head right at this moment that is going to drive my current thinking and my current actions right now. But I can't say with any certainty whatsoever whether or not I can actually follow through with those plans. So by making plans, it definitely is important to drive what you're doing right now, but those plans need to be held on to loosely, and understanding that things are going to change. Things almost are guaranteed to change. So while those plans are giving you action that will make your life better, they may or may not happen. And if they do, great. If they don't, that's the next part of this equation. So many times our plans don't happen the way we want them to. Something better happens. And I can't use a better example than my video called Opportunities that I took last January up at Coney Lake. And what happened on that trip was, again, I had all these plans on what I was going to do while camping up in the winter alpine, and I was going to climb certain peaks and get sunrise sunset shots, and I was going to get video footage of me glissading down. I had it all in my head. And then this massive ground blizzard came through, and the next morning I was like, I'm done. This is nuts. I'm not staying here any longer. And so I failed in my plans, and I was very disappointed that I wasn't gonna be able to get the shots that I wanted. I wasn't gonna be able to get the video footage that I wanted. But I thought, well, let's just make the best of it. I got out and shot video of myself tearing my Four Season tent down, and it was just silly. I mean, why am I shooting footage of me taking my tent down? That's not an adventure. That's not photography. That's not what I was all about. But I thought, well, you know what? This is pretty incredible footage. So this is an opportunity that I got that I wouldn't have had I stuck to my original plan. And so I named the video Opportunities, posted online, and at a time when my average views for my videos on my YouTube channel were about 60 to 70 views, a few would peak 100. Opportunities hit 10,000 views. And I was just floored, because it truly was an opportunity that I didn't anticipate, that ended up being so much better than what my plans initially told me. So, I'm getting a little winded carrying this pack. So by understanding anxiety over whether or not your plans are going to work, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make sense, because your plan, first of all, is just a thought in the current moment that's driving your current behavior. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. And if you hold on to your plans loosely and think about other things that you can do, you might end up with something a whole lot better. So anyway, those were some of the things I've been thinking about while hiking this morning, and I hope that they can maybe be useful to you as well, that anxiety is just a tax that you pay for doing something creative or challenging, and that your plans need to be held on loosely, because there's so many other things that might happen that are even better.